here with my amazing best brother ever doing siblings shitty scary stories.
No, this is not a creepypasta. This really happened and it was real. I know I don't have any proof at all to support it, but you gotta trust me because everybody knows the best place to post a true story that's not a creepypasta is the place on the internet where creepypastas are common. I was a big Pokemaniac, especially as a kid, and I wanted a Pokemon game to relive some childhood nostalgia. So I went to a garage sale instead of Walmart because garage sales are way more trustable.
Definitely.
I looked around at a lot of Game Boy games and chose a mangled up case that would be a red Pikachu. That would be yellow version shit. But instead it had a red Pikachu that said, Pokemon W2F hyper realistic, your next skeletons pop out and blood is fun, yellow version .exe and permanent blue marker.
I sure do love this totally good creepypasta.
The guy who was running the sale begged me, please don't buy that game. I have it out here at this garage sale, so obviously I don't want to sell it. But despite his warnings and common sense, I bought it anyway. It was even free! The man shrieked and died. Must have been a glitch. I sat down next to my camera and stuffed the game that's title is too big to type out's cartridge into the Game Boy Advance and played it, duh. Instead of skipping the boring title sequence like normal, I decided to watch it. It's been a while since I watched the Gengar vs. Nidorino fight. The Gengar used its slash attack at Nidorino, and I noticed hyper-realistic Nidorino skin on Gengar's claws, and Nidorino was bleeding hyper-realistic blood. Hyper-realistic blood was pulling off Nidorino.
Realistically realistic.
There was a lot of hyper-realistic blood. The Nidorino got revenge by using Horn attack. The Horn impaled Gengar hyper-realistically, and its hyper-realistic brains could be seen, and it collapsed as if dead. Then a demonic-sounding Pikachu was heard, and the title screen was there. The Pikachu had hyper-realistic scars, and its hyper-realistic eyes were bleeding hyper-realistic blood.
Realistically.
I'm gonna pause so I can turn off Discord notification 1.
Banana bread!
Where was I? I noticed something was wrong right away. The Gengar vs. Nidorino fight was only in Pokemon Red version, not Yellow.
Bagel.
Being the cheese-brained idiot I am, I pressed start.
Bagel.
The normal stuff happened with the whole welcome to the world of Pokemon or whatever, but except the Lavender Town theme was playing. It already knew my name, although I never put it in. But I decided it was normal. I named my rival Buttman, the thing I've always named him.
Decided? You just decide. Are you God and you decide non-normal and unnormal? Are you arguing?
Shush. Then Professor Oak continued his speech. Your very own adventure is about to unfold. A world of dreams and adventures with Pokemon awaits. Let's go. As the G appeared, a huge pixelated yet hyper-realistic screen.
Mario?
Burst through my speakers. The O never showed up, but my character was still shrunken to its overworld sprite. As usual, my character was in front of its TV. I went downstairs and talked to my mom. She said, Take care, honey. If it appears, come back home. I was impressed. For a woman who gets her parenting skills from TV, she was kind. But what was it? Whatever it was most likely going to appear a lot in this creepypasta. I mean, true story.
Yeah, it was very true story.
God, I gotta learn how.
This actually happened to me once.
I gotta learn how to read normally and not just like fucking stumble over my words like a dumb brained idiot.
Yeah, I know, but it's character. You can just say it's on purpose.
Yeah, it totally is on purpose. Even though I knew to go to the tall grass, I went in Oak's lab anyway. As usual, Buttman was there and he said his usual thing. Then something weird happened. In a creepypasta? No way! Hey, Gramps is in here, and he will never be again. He revealed a hyper-realistic knife and a hyper-realistic dead body, which must have been Oak. And there's hyper-realistic blood everywhere on the hyper-realistic floor.
Count.
And hyper-realistic.
Hyper-realistic count currently at 5.
And hyper-realistic Buttman's hyper-realistic
6,
shoes. And the
7,
hyper-realistic intensity.
8,
I
9.
Shush, I can't talk. I hyper-realistically took a bite out of... a hyper-realistic bite out of a hyper-realistic burger, which hyper-realistically fell apart. Shush. Which hyper-realistically fell apart. Stop. And spilled some hyper-realistic cheese fell on my hyper-realistic camera, which I shall be using for my excuse as to how there's no proof this really happened. I continued the game. It was normal, except for, hyper-realistic blood and the signs of torture whenever my Pikachu was attacked or was attacked. The Lavender Town was still playing and getting louder by the minute. Me not being able to exit the game, and whenever I try to save, it says nothing will save you from it. Obviously, glitches.
That is not a normal glitch.
That's the point. I played the game for a long time. I'd spend hours every day on it. I even stopped coming to work. I was an intern, and they got me fired. But I didn't care. I just had to play. I eventually became the champion using my Pikachu, Charizard, Blastoise, Venusaur, Pidgeot, and Kadabra. Kadabra wasn't evolved because for some reason none of my friends would trade with me. Then Professor Oak, although he was dead, came up to me and said, "Congratulations, and now you can take on the Johto League. That's mine." Do you accept? Obviously, I clicked yes, not seeing anything suspicious about being able to go to Johto in a Gen 1 game. I played some of the Johto region until I beat the first gym. I bought some escape ropes and went to the ruins of Alpha. After watching 100 walkthroughs, I knew what to do. Read the unknown that spelled escape, use an escape rope, and open the passage that leads into a place where you can catch unknown.
Wait, you're trying to catch unknown? Why?
I went to the house and looked at the unknown spelling escape and used an escape rope. Weirdly, it let me escape the house. That's what they're for. I went back in and fucking used the escape rope. You can't escape. So I tried to use it and it didn't work. It won't let you escape. By then I was out of escape ropes. When I left, the text box came up and said, "It is coming." Okay, this was the 100th time they mentioned this stupid it thing. And whatever it was, would it just shut up and go away?
By the way, the current hyperrealism counter is at 14.
As soon as I thought that, I heard a really distorted Pikachu cry. I looked at my Pokemon, and my Pikachu was somehow named It. I had never nicknamed my Pokemon, so I was confused. "You never understood it, did you?" It said, using better grammar than I usually do. This game was haunted. Ben and Jeff and Jack and Slender Man and whatever other creepypasta character fangirls squee over have played this game, and they have all died. Now you will die. Not just you, your Pokemon too. Suddenly, all my Pokemon were out of their Pokeballs, even though I could swear that mechanic only worked for Pikachu. It sank its claws into Pidgeot's chest and whipped his ring out. Fuck. Ripped its... You know what, never mind. I watched as hyper-realistic blood sprayed out of it. Pidgeot died appeared on the screen. It sliced Kadabra's neck, ripped Blastoise's shell out, yada 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 yada. Charizard committed suicide. Kadabra died. It looked at me. I'm not talking about my character, I'm talking about me. Now it's your turn. Suddenly I felt extreme pain. I gasped as I looked and saw it ripping my arm out. Then it ripped out my other arm and disappeared. How the fuck are you typing it? How the fuck are you typing? I was immediately rushed to the hospital because arm loss is always somehow fatal. The doctor said I would die any minute. So here I am using the arms that I don't have, typing my story here, or if you're recording this for YouTube, say recording instead of typing, because that's totally what you should do when you're about to die. And of course, I'll post this in a place meant for fiction works, because then everyone will believe me. If there's one thing I know, it's I'll never play that game again, because duh, I'm dying. By the way, you're next. No, really, don't believe me? Look behind you. Oh, you're sitting with a wall behind you? Oh, and I've got nothing. And now I'm dead, so that's a thing.
Would you like it up to end the hyper-realism?
God, that was so good. I loved that.
Would you like the hyper-realism counter?
Sure, I'm going to end the video, though.
It's currently at 15.
Yeah.